Good morning, lecturer and everyone. I would like to talk about homeschooling, and this is my topic to present to you. However, I record the video. I would like to talk about the four contents of my presentation. It is definition, where homeschooling is legal, homeschooling curriculum, and the last one is homeschooling approach. I would like to talk about the definition first. The definition of homeschooling I collected from the two resources. First of all is Oxford Dictionary. In the Oxford Dictionary, it says homeschooling is the practice of educating children at home and not at schools. So this is from the Oxford Dictionary, and from Wikipedia. Homeschooling, also known as home education, is the education of children at home or a variety of places rather than school. So in the Wikipedia, as long as the children are not being educated at school, whether they are using their home or other places not in the school to teach their children, this is already called homeschool. Let's go to some brief of information about where homeschool is legal, or where the governments of the countries recognize homeschool. So first one, I pick up the information from the US. All the 50 states of the US, they recognize homeschool. They give the certificates to homeschool. Secondly, in Europe, most of the country in Europe, they recognize homeschool. But the exceptional countries that they don't recognize homeschool are Germany, Slovakia, Bulgaria, and Romania. But the rest, they agree and give the certificates to homeschool. What about Asia? In Asia, there are Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Thailand, our neighboring country. So in Asia, these countries are legal for homeschooling. Let us continue to the third of my content. It is the curriculum review or overview of homeschool. At preschool, if the parents choose to educate their children at home, they can start with the exciting adventure for their children or for the students, so that the students start to have the ideas of loving to learn and doing more experiment on what's going on with their education. So start at the preschool curriculum. The parents or the teachers at home should introduce their children about how exciting to get the knowledge from their beginning of the age. Secondly is elementary and middle school, or we can say primary school and secondary school. In primary school, the parents or the educators should do homeschooling with the focusing on phonics, fluency, grammar, spelling, vocabulary, reading comprehensions, and writing process, and etc. Usually they should do a basic skill on writing pronunciations and memorizing the things. In the middle school or in the secondary school, if the parents teach their children at home, they can collect the number of lessons that covering the concepts of different theory, value, meaning, measurement, including also geometry, sense, spatial reasoning, data analysis, probability, and so on, the same as the curriculum at a secondary school at school. Let's go into high school. Remember that the curriculum for high school students to learn at home, the teachers or the parents must prepare their children ready to go to university, to go to the college. So it involves all the skills, the knowledge that prepare their children to go to the higher educations, especially the language arts can be organized according to the state standards or the country standards. The different aspects of the languages should also included while they are at high school learning from home. Let's go to the approaches. There are different approaches according to my researches. The 7 approaches I'm presenting to you are popular. First one is classical. Secondly is Charlotte Mason. Third is Montessori. Fourth is unschooling. Fifth is school at home. Sixth is unit studies, and last one is electric education methods. So these are the 7 approaches I'm presenting to you. The first one is classical. Classical, it's used to teach mostly at the elementary grades, but I am sure that in Cambodia we teach from elementary until high school. The classical approaches the combination of the 3 parts, which are called trivium, trivium, trivium. So the 3 parts of the trivium is memorizing, repeating, analytical thinking, and rhetoric or making expressions. So again, memorize, analytical thinking, and expressions. So this is called classical approaches. Parents need to teach their children to remember by doing more repeating. Parents should teach their children by doing more thinking and lead their children to think more. And last one is to express what they have learned. I believe this is what I experienced from my childhood until high school, because during my life at school, I learned by the classical approach from the teacher. Let's go to the second methods or the second approaches, Charlotte Mason. When these approaches, the parents should select the literatures or select the the books that are not mostly textbooks. Charlotte mentioned if you use this approach, at school they use the textbook and the teachers will follow the textbook until finishing the school. However, if you are working from home teaching your children, using Charlotte Manson method, you don't choose textbooks to teach the children, but you choose literature or the different books that are written by famous people to teach your children. The same as university, many teachers or many lecturers, they chose different books to teach us at the university. This is called Charlotte method. Go to the next approach is Montessori. So within Montessori, it is to allow the children to learn by pace, self-pace, own pace. Or we have the deadline, but the children or the students can learn from time to time until they finish before the deadline of the lessons. This is called own pace. Maybe they learn once a week or twice a week, but it's not required to learn every day. At least they must finish before the deadline of the lesson set. So Montessori require the teachers to select the materials and present to the children, present to the students, that they must learn these materials before the deadline and let them go whenever they are free to go, but they must complete before the deadline. This is called Montessori approach. Let's go to unschooling approach. What's that unschooling approach? Within unschooling approach, the parents, they don't use the lessons from school, but they use the living situations or living conditions to teach their children. I give an example, like when they are learning about biography, okay, they are learning about the plantations. So the parents can take their children and get the plants and explain the plant and touch the plant, okay, such as flowers, gardening, and so on. So they use their smell, use their hand to touch and learn. So they don't need to read the textbook, but they can go in their daily life learning from their living from home. Okay, this is called unschooling. The next approach is school at home. This approach, the teachers or the parents need to set up their home like a school. For example, like the parents can choose a room and set it up like a classroom, and then there is time schedule for their children to come and learn. This is called school at home. Next one is unit studies. Unit studies, it is the approach where the parents can choose the different subjects from time to time to let their children learn and to reach the credit or degree succeed for schooling year to year. I try to explain this. Unit studies, it's similar to university degree, like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So as long as the 4 years the student from the university complete all the degrees, they can get the bachelor. The same to unit studies abroad from home. The parents can choose different topics, different subjects from year, from times. However, at the end, the children can get the certificates. Last of the approach is electric education. Electric education, it is the design of the materials or the structure of the curriculum depending on the parents to choose. They can follow the school at home with the combination of unschooling. So this is electric education. So the parents can choose between the two different methods to combine together. Like some units or some days they can teach their children from the textbook, and some lessons they can go out for the different condition of living to learn from the lessons. That's all for my presentation, and I know that it's a little bit short for this presentation of homeschooling. If you would like to finding out more, these are the references website. Please go and research more as a teacher. Thank you very much, lecturers, parents. Thank you very much, all the classmates, for paying my attention to my presentation. Thank you.